I wanted to touch on like how you were talking about like healing and trauma, and so what you're doing is healing trauma, because I think the reason why I'm so attracted to your music is because of, oh man, that's weird. Sorry. Man, that's weird. That came over me. All the brain injuries I had, it's really soothing on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's trauma, and you help me with that trauma, so it's like you're doing it, so man, that was weird. It's like I got emotional thinking of like, but that's trauma, right? Because when you think about that trauma and you think about what you had to go through with each injury or whatever happened to you, it gets you emotional, because like it's been a journey. And you were speaking of that. You were speaking about the journey, and you were talking about where was it? I took a note on it because it was so good. You were speaking about the journey of
Hero's journey.
The hero's journey.
Yeah.
But you were speaking on Abraham.
Yes.
And you were talking about how he had to overcome all these obstacles.
Yeah.
But at the end, there was this promised land.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's what's going on with you, is
everybody.
Like with everybody. Yeah, exactly. Everybody. I love how you just think outside of yourself.
Well, it's not me.
Yeah.
I'm just expressing.
It's interesting that you brought up Abraham, because I moved from Chicago to Tampa 2 years ago. And, before I moved, God kept telling me that I was going to move one day. I just didn't know where, and I didn't know when. But one particular day, this was so fascinating. I'm grocery shopping, and I open up the back door of my SUV, and I need to put my groceries in there. And so I open up that door, put in my groceries, and then I go into my driver's side, into my door in the front. And all of a sudden, this page, I had a small little leather Bible that snaps, and this page comes flying out of my Bible in the back seat, and I grab it. The wind blows it. I grab it in my hand, and when I open it, it's Genesis chapter 12, verses 1, where it says, where God's like, Abraham, I want you to leave the land of your mother and father and to go off to a land that you do not know, but I will make you a great nation, and your children will be great. And, I'm going to make you into a great nation. And so anyway, that was the scripture. And I was just like, so I held on to that because I was like, okay, I know God wants me to go out to this place and take this step of faith and just leave everything that I knew in Chicago and venture off to some unknown land. Mm-hmm. And so that's exactly what happened,
And it's a universal tale. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what religion, what spirituality, whatever you practice. That's a universal journey that everybody has to go through.
Yes. Everyone has to do that. And we were speaking about that. Like, some people never do it, and you're really missing out.
Yes.
If you don't take it, there's timing.
I think they're going to reincarnate and have to do it at some point.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, true. And you were speaking of that. You're like, maybe I'm reincarnated, and in my last.
Maybe I have no idea, but it's a good theory.
But it's interesting that you said that about the page in the Bible, because a couple months ago we were at my sister's house, and she flips open. I have like a little pocket-sized Bible that I keep with me. It has like a sword on it. It's awesome. But she flipped open the Bible, and she turns to this I forget which area it was, and it says like, David gathers the musicians. David gathers the pastors. David builds altars. David does, I'm like, and as we kept reading it, I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is kind of like happening, like we're unifying and we're building, we're building in a unique way. That only God could do, because like, he's like the master creator, and the way that he does it, like we can't even imagine. So it's really dope, but it also takes hard work. It takes a lot of hard work, and I'm sure you've been through this, it's not easy all the time. you have to have faith, but you also have to work really, really hard. And it goes both ways. Because the other day, my grandfather, he's in the hospital right now. He's struggling with stage 4 kidney disease, which we recently had a huge miracle. We've been praying like hard for him, and they were saying that he was going to have heart surgery. Well,
they said that there was blockage.
There was
in his heart,
blockage.
that they had to do surgery.
So they went in to do the surgery.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I believe. And when they went in, they found out there was no blockage.
Right. It's
Amazing.
gone.
Yeah, it's like that was gone. So, but I forget where I was going with that. But
it's a miracle.
It was a miracle.
Yeah.
But anyways, as he's been in the hospital, we were speaking about like faith without works is dead. And then he told me, he said, in the opposite too. He's like, work without faith is dead. And I was like, oh, I never thought about it like that. And I'm like, man, that's very true. Like, because you could work yourself to the bone, but you, at some point, you can't keep doing that.
You have to believe in something.
You have to believe. You have to have faith, So, like, it works both ways, But I'm pretty sure, like, you've put in a ton of hard work to do what you're doing right now.
Hard work. In what terms?
Well, I guess it's not really work when you're doing what you love.
Right.
But the sacrifice,
or maybe the time that you've put into
the
it.
Time,
sacrifice,
discipline.
Yeah, and like you said, it's scary. It's scary to take these chances.
Oh yeah.
But the timing, when the timing's right and it's aligned, it all starts just flowing. And I think that's what you're going through. And another thing that you said the other day that was huge is like, I think you said Teddy Roosevelt said this. You said the greatest sin is to not trust yourself.
I don't know if those are not the exact words, but the idea was that you can do the wrong thing, you can do the right thing, but the worst thing to do is nothing.
Yes, there we go.
Because if you're doing the wrong thing, then in your eyes, you think you're doing the right thing. So you're doing something and you're believing in something and you're passionate about something, even if it's the wrong thing. If you're doing nothing, then you're just wasting your energy. You're wasting your power, like your gift. So.
Wow, it's like do something, step up.
Do something.
Yeah, move forward. Yeah. How do you feel about that, Chris? Like as far as like sorry to put you on the spot, but I don't know. I wanted to get your opinion on that.
I would certainly agree. I think there's another saying that comes to mind. It's the man who does nothing, who is it's something about evil men, right? And it's the passive man who is the evil man who does nothing. He doesn't stand up for anything. So yeah, I totally agree with that sentiment. Absolutely.
Go after what you believe in your heart that you are called to do, and just take one step and then take another one, like one step at a time, and I'm sure that's what you've been doing to some degree. Like, speaking of, you're going to be here because you got some shows coming up. What shows are, where are you going to be performing at?
So on Tuesday, I'll be at Shuffle.
Okay.
I'm doing the open mic feature. Wednesday, I'll be at Armature Works.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Playing like in where
I think the lawn.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. I need to double
where
check.
they're going to put you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, I think Nana's. It's like they have like a women's circle or something. So it's a bunch of like women artists and I think poets and stuff from Tampa or this area. And
Man, you got a lineup this week.
Yeah,
You're
I
going
guess
hard.
I don't really know what's going on. I was just added to this group chat, so we'll see.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And there's also, I think, Earth and Bones Studios. I think it's like an art gallery. I think they're trying to put something together on the 21st.
Earth
so
and Bones. Okay.
probably be doing that too.
I loved when. I also saw you at Drip.
Yeah.
Down in Ybor one time, and like that's a really cool venue too. Actually, I was out riding. Yeah, it's pottery. It's a pottery spot.
Oh yeah.
I was out riding my bike one day, and I happened to stop by there like during lunchtime, and I met like the owner, and we actually spoke about you a little bit.
Oh
I was
gosh.
like, yeah, I saw her. He's like, man, I loved her. She was awesome. And he said he used to do a lot of poetry nights there with Dennis Amadeus and all those guys, but they got bigger and they had to get their own area, which I think he's with Grow House, and they've gotten their own spot now in Ybor where they do poetry nights and stuff. So,
very nice.
It's
very communal. Like
it
the
is
art community. Yeah.
We were speaking about that, like as far as our music art community.
Yeah, I was telling you that the first time I moved here, it actually kind of frightened me because I was so used to like every man kind of fending for himself in the music industry, and like to have like everyone coming together. I was like, someone like trying to take advantage of the situation, or like I found it hard to believe that people actually just wanted to like come together and support each other.
Yeah, definitely.
And now like I see, like I think it is pretty genuine. But
and what brought you to Tampa? Because you said you moved here a year ago.
Yeah, so I was living in North Carolina, and what was it? Yeah, I felt like I was kind of stuck there, and then I was, COVID happened, so I was stuck there for another 2 years, and I didn't really want to stay in North Carolina. Nothing against North Carolina, I was just, kind of there for too long, and I was like, I need like a radically different change. I'm not gonna go back north. That's where I came from, and I wasn't really feeling it. And then people kept talking about St. Pete for music. They're like, "Oh, you do great in St. Pete." I'm like, "Okay, I've never been there, never heard of it really, but I know Tampa." And yeah. So then last November, I think I kind of randomly booked a couple-month Airbnb in Tampa, and I was like, "I'm just gonna try it out and see what happens." But yeah, I had a couple of shows lined up, but I didn't have like a lot planned. I just wanted to trust myself and see what happened.
That's great. Yeah.
Wow. I also like Dunedin Brewery, which is down the street. There's a lot of like awesome venues around here. And we spoke about also with like the music festivals.
Yeah.
I think you like getting involved with that, would also be beneficial to some degree. And also like escaping, getting to escape at these music festivals, because you end up staying the night like 3, 4 nights, 5 nights if you want. You can stay out there as long as you want.
Yeah,
but
sounds fun.
yeah. They got really cool.
You.
Yeah.
Like staying outside, the mosquitoes.
Well, they're really not that bad. Especially with I guess because you're not around the water.
Oh, okay.
Like the water really is what attracts the mosquitoes to some degree.
Okay.
But also like you ever heard of Spirit of Swanee up in Swan what is it at? No. The Swanee River. Okay, there's a big park up there called the Spirit of Swanee, and they do music festivals there. One of the big ones they do is called Halloween. And have you heard of that?
No.
Oh wow! Like yeah,
I was only here for like 4 months or something.
Yeah, you would really enjoy that. I don't know. We got a lot to talk about because I would love to help reach out and connect you to some of these places that get like gigs and stuff.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think we in like the Ale and the Witch we went to the other day, like playing in that courtyard. I mean, there's so many cool venues, and like I said, I think just reaching out to Scamato, that would connect us with a lot of stuff, and the Crowbar. I mean, Tom the George though from the Crowbar, right?
Maybe.
He was the owner with the big beard.
Yeah.
He's also a great person to speak to. So, how long are you gonna be here for?
Well, I'm visiting for now, but I might actually move here if it speaks to me.
Okay.
So I'm open to opportunities.
Gotcha.
Really. Yeah, I've been kind of like rebranding and like kind of figuring out my direction, and like I've gotten the composing and the soundtrack thing like more under my belt than I did beforehand. So now I'm like, okay, I feel like I can move somewhere and kind of settle because I know what I'm doing now.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. Yeah. What also like, what is like on your heart right now? Like, is there something like that's happening in the world that like that you, if you could do something about it, you would do something about it? Or is there anything that speaks to you?
Anything that speaks.
That's going on that you want to like help with or give back.
Are you asking about like a cause?
Yeah, a cause or like
I think the victimhood and cancel culture mentality. That's the culprit to a lot of things. I think people put themselves in the state of like being a victim, and then they're giving up their power. And it's easier to be a victim and to follow the sheep, and just follow the herd, do what people are telling you to believe or what to do or say, and to think for yourself and to take responsibility for your actions and your thoughts is way harder. And you might lose some friends. But I think that I don't know if that's a social cause or whatever, but that is the cause for every issue, I think, to some degree. It's like not speaking up for what's right or what you truly believe, and just letting other people think for you. And even I did an interview, and this woman, she had a specific agenda, and she asked me, how has being a woman made your career difficult for you? I'm like, it hasn't.
Like, I know.
But she wanted some juice, and so she was like, well, do you think how has being an Asian woman made your career difficult? I'm like,
it hasn't.
It hasn't. What?
Good
I
answers.
don't know.
Good answers.
And I'm like, I've always identified as being a female. I've always been Asian. Like, I don't know any other sort of reality. Like, this is like, this water bottle identifies as being a water bottle. Like, it doesn't know anything else. You know what I mean? Like, what am I supposed to say? Like, I was like, it doesn't. But I mean, I suppose I could imagine it to be difficult, and I could come up with some scenarios in my childhood where someone made an Asian joke or something, and yeah, that's the issue. But it's like, was it really an issue? Was it really a setback? No, like, it didn't really affect me.
Right.
And so, but people want you to feel like a victim, because then you feel powerless, and you feel powerful in complaining about it and talking to your friends about it and posting on social media about it. But at the end of the day, like, you're not in charge. You're just complaining. And I think it was Brene Brown, and she talks about like life being an arena. It can be an arena, it can be a field, whatever. And you have the people on the side of the arena, like in the stands, kind of shouting and throwing stuff and, shouting profanities and saying, oh, why is this guy like messing up on the field, and like criticizing the people who are on the field or in the arena. Yeah. And even like if you watch like, football, or like people who follow football, like you see that people get really invested in it, and they start criticizing the guys who are on the field getting beat up. And it's like, wait, why don't you go out there and get beat up? Like this, like these guys get like injured all the time. It's like rigorous, disciplined practice to be able to play these sports, and they get criticized and heckled left and right. And it's like, no, be the guy in the arena. You're going to get criticized. Some people are not going to like you. You're going to get kicked in the face, but at least you're living, and at least you're making a difference, and you're using your power. So to answer your question, don't be a victim.
Yes, that
Think
is
for yourself.
so good.
What a great message.
Don't be on the side. Be in the arena. It's going to suck. It's going to hurt, but it's also going to be incredibly rewarding. And I said, like, this past year, like, was one of the hardest years of my life. And I had some of the worst moments of my life, but I also had some of the best moments of my life. So I wouldn't trade any of it for anything. Like, it was all worth it. And that's the point of life. Like, whatever religion or spirituality you practice, like, if God or whoever came into this world, or this, whatever you want to call it, he wanted to experience all of it. You can't say, I don't want to experience that. I can only experience this. Like, you have to experience all of life, and then from that make decisions on how you move forward and how you grow, and how you operate as a person. But yeah, you have to embrace all of it, even if it's hard. But you'll also have like the rewarding and the beautiful moments too. So yeah,
because the hard moments create growth.
Yes.
Absolutely.
There's always a opportunity in adversity.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lean into those difficult parts of life. Don't shy away from them.
Yeah.
Right? There's no growth there. If your entire life is centered around pain avoidance,
You're right.
then that's not a life, right? You have to lean into the difficulty. You have to lean into the hard work, into the pain, into the discomfort, because on the other side of that is, like you said, it's growth. That's the only way you're gonna grow.
Of course.
Wow.
There's a book called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, and he talks about how we carry these like metaphorical thorns in our side. And like, you have this thorn, and then you like make a cutout in your doorway so you can walk through the door with this thorn in your side, and you like, adjust your seat so that the seatbelt doesn't hit the thorn. And like basically, like he like really blows out of proportion. Yeah. And he says like you make all these accommodations in your life for this thorn in your side, whereas you could just pull it out and it'll hurt, but then you'll realize things are much easier.
Wow.
Right.
So.
That is true.
Wow. Face your trauma.
Yeah.
Face your trauma, get through it, move on.
It's imagined. The pain is imagined.
Yeah. Speaking on that too is because you were talking about fear, and that I've spoke about this before. As I heard, it's false expectation that appears real. So it's not even real. We make it real.
Yeah.
We make fear real, but
the chemicals that you produce in your brain that produce fear or joy or ecstasy or whatever, they're chemicals in your brain.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, the event can be the event, but what you feel is in here.
Right.
Sorry, what were you saying?
No, that's good. No, it's good. I'm pleased.
Just like Pastor Sam said that he's like, a lot of it is perceived trauma, right? Or perceived hurt.
Yeah.
Perceived hurt.
Or where it's like it's in your mind, but it's not really the actuality.
No,
it's just your perception.
That person doesn't even know
that they did anything or
hurt
said
you
anything.
or,
Yeah, it's your perceived.
And you're just holding on to it.
Yes.
Wow. But also with everything that you're saying is like going out and attacking your goal and all that jazz is like you can't be afraid of being judged. Because when you put yourself on the platform or you're in the arena, you're going to be judged. And you just can't get caught up in that. And that's why one thing I do to speak on like a current event is Kanye West. Like I've always liked Kanye West, like from day one. And I'm with him. I like that he's standing up and he doesn't, he's like, you know what? Yeah. Isn't that great? It's like, he doesn't care that he's being attacked and blackballed and shut down, canceled. He's like, I'm just going to speak the truth, because y'all need to hear it.
Right.
And people, they don't want to hear the truth. Oh, her voice is good.
Yeah, I realize this is my friend Elena.
I realized y'all had a good relationship.
We're great friends.
You met her up there in Connecticut?
Oh, no, North Carolina.
Or North Carolina, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, she has a very soulful voice.
Well, she was opera trained.
Opera.
So she did like a lot of soprano type stuff.
Okay.
She's kind of shifting her brand right now.
Oh, really? What is she moving into?
It's more popular type music.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So this one is Rise, and we did I did the cello parts that are coming up. But yeah, it's like a ballad, I guess.
Yeah.
Sounds like it would be in a Disney movie.
Oh yeah, right. Straight up. There you go. That is a good.
It's like I pictured Brave.
Yeah.
Redhead on her horse,
like
a strong,
strong woman story.
Yeah, I could.
Little Mermaid or something.
Or Little Mermaid, one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
I'll let her know.
You both can do soundtracks.
Yes.
Speaking of Little Mermaid, I was actually thinking about that the other day, which is really strange.
You're like
because I remember this one part where she's talking about she has like all of these things.
Knickknacks and
whatchamacallits, and but they're like forks and stuff that she found. And
Snickerdoodle was the fork.
maybe.
But she's like, she wasn't happy.
Right.
She had everything, but she's like, something's missing.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so funny how those Disney movies, like they have like such a way of creating a beautiful message.
Yeah.
Because like we can have everything,
right,
but still be missing like the most biggest part of ourselves.
Right.
And that goes back to what you were saying. Like if we focus on the external, even Dr. Rob, before you came, was speaking about like, how we focus so much on vanity and the physical when really he's like, I need you to focus on just being healthy and being, and that goes with your physical health, your body, the way you feel on the inside, as well as your mental health. And it's all about what you're putting inside of you. And he was speaking of like food and working out, but also what are you letting your brain consume? Like what is like, what are you around? What are your surroundings like? And everything goes back to like your character as an individual. And if you don't have good character, you start to attract the wrong surroundings. But the more your character improves, you get healthier surroundings.
Right.
So it's really everything goes back to character. Yeah, exactly. Life's a reflection of you. So it's really your character. It goes back to every time.
And you talked about your relationship. You David, bringing up the Little Mermaid, with all the knickknacks and stuff. You mentioned that you felt like you had everything. Right, you didn't need anything. You had it all. You had, whatever it was. You didn't have to pay for it. It was just there. but something was off. Something was missing.
Yeah,
And-
I know. I was deeply unhappy.
Right. And so you needed to sort of, get out there and find out what that was. And I think that's the story of the Little Mermaid for the most part, right? She's got everything. She's got all the knickknacks, but there's something more that she needs. And yeah, I just thought that parallel was
You're
was
like
interesting.
Brianna Tam, the beautiful Little Mermaid.
I mean, if you look at my bioluminescence cover, it's got
Yeah,
True.
Benefits.
Very.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. You can catch all of our episodes on YouTube and Spotify at Better Gents Podcast, and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Better Gents Pod. Thank you and take care.